Krishna. My name is Nicholas Guillermo. I'm the founder of the Representative Initiatives Political Action Committee, and it is a more anarchist leaning political action committee than anything you've ever heard of. I'm going to be sharing with you in this video the actual solutions we can use to solve all the problems in government, calling for unity among disenfranchised liberals and conservatives and everyone else in between, like myself, the radical centrists who are aware of corruption in government, who are ready to do something about it. The problem is people just haven't known the answers. So that's why this video is so important. That's why this channel is so important, because everything I go into in this video will be explored in far more depth in the coming video. So definitely subscribe now. Don't wait till the end. You want to know this information. I may be, and I believe now from my research, I am the only one really expounding on the direct solutions we can take to solve all corruption in government, to actually end the corrupt government. How to do that. First of all, don't judge me based on how I look. Don't judge me based on how I sound. Listen to the content of my message and think deeply about it, because if you fail to accept the truth that I will share with you, you will not be enlightened by the answers. You will not be able to actively participate in them. And it is my goal, it is my real mission to encourage you, sustain your attention, to get you to accept the solution so that you will play a role in acting them out, because I alone cannot solve the problems in government. Myself and a small group of people cannot do it. It's going to take massive participation. But the amount of the critical mass we need is actually far less than many would actually think. It's actually a small amount of us that will be able to achieve tremendous results when we take action together. And I'll share with you what those are. First and foremost, in order to solve the problems in society, we need to know the root cause of those problems. We need to get to the very bare bones of the problems affecting us all in society. The degradation of morality of the individual is directly proportional to tyranny in government. The more immoral and corrupt society becomes, the more tyranny in government there will be. And this is a plan that has been set into motion, has been in place, and you can see it now. I've noticed in my own life. The degradation of the quality of entertainment, of the news media, which is now just a form of entertainment on mainstream news, the music industry, which is totally subverted with sexual innuendos, totally just corrupting culture, making everything sexualized, and making people attracted to violence and sex, the primal instincts that are part of our animalistic nature as humans, but not part of our higher nature and consciousness. This degradation is put into place by key individuals at the top of the chain, the pyramid, the elites, who have an agenda through a dark, occulted knowledge that they hold from us, that they use against us to perpetuate degradation of society. So in order to first and foremost understand the root cause of our problems, we have to understand the dark occult. We have to understand what Satanism and demoniac influencers are in our society. We have to call them out by who they are and those corporations that run it all, and we have to abstain from participating in any way in their corrupt culture. We have to call them out for all their corruption and evil. We have to understand the dark occult. We have to understand that true evil exists worse than many people imagine. Many people are not aware of how sick the actual elites that run this crooked world are. They're running us into disparity, into the depths of hell on this planet, because they control us through degradation of society, through certain aspects of media and popular culture that they're pushing on the youth, that they're pushing on the adults, and they're seeking to form a very corrupt world that their tyranny can then exist in. So we need to understand the dark occult knowledge, the hidden symbolism, the why they want everything and every person to be permeated with this desire for materialism and wealth, rather than the true cause of prosperity, which is our time and energy and effort in nurturing others and helping others around us, which does not rely on money at all. Prosperity, life, liberty, happiness, and freedom do not rely on money at all. Money would be obsolete when we have true freedom. You will not need money. You will not need to participate in it. Doesn't mean you won't have to work. Doesn't mean there won't be things that need to be done with your help. But it means that the control system of usury, of debt-based monetary systems, and of all of the militarism that they use to just degrade society, it will be no longer necessary when we ourselves free ourselves from that concept that the military and government and police and warfare are necessary for us to survive. And we need to escape from that paradigm, the thinking we need to look up to government and hope that government fixes everything. In order to understand how much control they have over society, we have to understand the depth of the brainwashing, the hypnotism, and the complete absorption of illusion that they have us under. We have to understand the propaganda from the school systems, from the mainstream media, from mainstream even archaeology and sciences. And we have to understand the occult of scientism, where they seek to use science that has been created with a purpose to stray people away from the actual solutions we need. And they seek to make science an actual religion, but not real open science where everything is out in the open. I mean, you can even go online and see tons of studies about subjects are hidden from the public unless you pay a fee, because free knowledge is not what the elites want right now. And they predicated our system off of money and first and foremost. But once we get over that and knowledge is free, then we can also have freedom. We have to understand that through free knowledge and free information, through ourselves sharing information that we learn, we can help wake others up to that information, enlighten others through knowledge. And that is in of itself a step towards enlightenment. We have to understand what brainwashing really is, what hypnotism is, and how the elites use media and propaganda to literally hypnotize and brainwash people away from seeing the truth, from being completely blind to the truth that's right in front of our eyes. The solutions are right here in front of us. The knowledge, the wisdom, the feeling in our heart has been cut off. The feeling in our gut has been cut off by these elites, knowing how they use poisons and thought control mechanisms of propaganda to literally hypnotize and brainwash the masses. We need to become aware of that, and I'll be going in depth in this channel onto that subject with lots of proof, so don't worry about that. The next step is enlightenment. We talk about enlightenment. It does have to do with knowledge, but it has a lot more to do with material knowledge. Enlightenment has to do with immaterial spiritual knowledge as well, and moral principles. And there are two pillars of enlightenment that will sustain an enlightened culture, which will allow us to free ourselves from the bondage of the corrupt governments and institutions that hold our nations in perpetual and increasing levels of slavery and servitude towards those elite money masters that run it all. And those two pillars are the non-aggression principle and the self-defense principle, and one without the other is incomplete. The non-aggression principle is predicated off of natural law, which is a philosophy that is non-sectarian, that, like the laws of gravity, the laws of the universe, it is a law that is universal and sustained throughout all true spiritualists and true followers of religion that know the moral code that they live under helps free others. And the non-aggression principle is the key. It's the divine feminine to not cause aggression onto others who have not caused aggression unto you. But likewise, the self-defense principle is crucial. The non-aggression principle is kind of like the golden rule. Do not do unto others as you would not have done unto you. It's how the human mind works. Because just saying do unto others as you like done to you doesn't quite trigger certain aspects of the human mind that engages the mind to pursue excellence and moral servitude. The self-defense principle is where you have to know where to stand up for yourself. You cannot let tyranny and evil walk all over you and let around this world without saying or doing anything about it. And saying isn't enough. Philosophy alone is not enough. There is a yoga axiom, talk does not cook rice. You have to take direct action to stop tyranny and evil. The self-defense principle is crucial, and that takes courage, and that takes faith. Yourself, believing in yourself and believing in your actions helping others. The self-defense principle is crucial, and the message I have embodies that to a whole nother degree that no one else is really accepting. Now, the self-defense principle in politics and how constitutional anarchy, if you will, is a phrase I've come up with, how it plays a role in solving all the problems in government. Just as the Bill of Rights was not a list of what the government is granting us, but rather a list of the things that government cannot do to us. Okay, the Bill of Rights and the 10 Amendments have to do with preventing the government from over abusing its ability of using force on others and power. Okay, the right to free speech, for example, the right to petition the government is the first and foremost principle of that Bill of Rights, and that is what I'm going to be discovering and sharing with you through this channel, which is why you want to subscribe, because that principle alone is what can save this nation. The second law of the Bill of Rights, this law, this natural law, is the right to self-defense, the right to gun ownership, that shall not be infringed. Okay? As a martial artist, I can expound on this issue. You need to have the right to protect yourself against thugs and against tyrannical government. The reality is their arms are so much stronger than even what's available. You can buy, huge gauge ammunition and guns that can blow holes in the sides of vehicles and everything. And you could be prepared to the teeth with all the weapons to take on the military, but the reality is their weapons are so much advanced beyond ours. They have technology so far ahead of ours. But it's the principle of the self-defense principle of the Second Amendment that is why we need to stand up and protect that right. It's the one reason America was not taken over by the Japanese during World War II, because we have so many weapons in our possession that they knew a ground assault would not work, because the average person had weapons, and they had many to give out to other people to defend our nation. Otherwise, we'd be a Nazi world right now, perhaps. Okay, could have been invaded. All right, and the Second Amendment saved us, and it will possibly be required to save us in the future as well. But I think not. I think not. I have faith that we will not have to have a second American Revolution, because the First Amendment, the right to petition the government, is so strong in states. I am a true progressive libertarian, a true progressive, unlike what the Democratic Party stands for. Even the Green Party, with its principle of democracy, does not embrace what the progressive movement was formed on, which was nonpartisan. It wasn't liberal or conservative. It was about people having the final say and being able to stop corruption in government through the ballot proposition mechanism. And there are 5 core types of ballot propositions that we'll go into today. There's actually 6 types, but it's not as important at all right now, because it has to do more with like the grand picture. Once we establish pure solutions in the states that have ballot mechanisms with a permanent ballot access network, I'll explain here in a moment, then we can go into the 6th method, which is the limited constitutional convention. And this is where we could actually change the whole United States Constitution, and all the amendments after the Bill of Rights could be strengthened. We could actually eliminate a lot of them by having the Bill of Rights, and we could actually have natural law in our Constitution. We could put the moral code of natural law in the Constitution and have a natural law society through the Constitutional Convention process. The limited Constitutional Convention process is a possible means to do so, where we focus on one issue at a time. It is a progressive step towards creating that, but it requires 34 states, and we only have ballot access rights on a statewide level in 24 right now, but that can be changed. And we can have governors that represent us in the future for those other remaining states. And we could actually have feasibly a natural law society starting here in the US, following these other 5 principles. So the 5 principles, the 5 mechanisms that can create true freedom and prosperity in this nation are the initiative, the referenda, the recall, the nomination, and the citizen grand jury. I'll explain those briefly here. We'll have other videos going in depth of these issues, what states have them, what states don't, what states can create them, and so forth. But first and foremost, we'll talk about the recall, okay? Because people that are skeptical of direct democracy must understand the recall and referendum process. First and foremost, there are constitutional scholars, I'll be putting videos about this, that are explaining, and I'll explain this infinitum. It is the most important process that we have available to us today. And even if we can't all agree on initiatives that we want, we need to, as citizens, create, and I'll explain how, we can and will create a protectorate, a citizenry of people ready to defend our rights and liberties against corruption in government with the referendum process and the recall process. So the recall process is very simple. It's like impeachment. We can recall the governors, we can recall the sheriffs, we can recall the most powerful people in our states and all the politicians in our states. We can even recall the federal representatives. And we can do that with a ballot proposition known as the recall process. To recall is to kick them out of office, okay? We boot them out and we make it so they can never come back. We have to collect enough signatures, a very high threshold, more than the others. But we can collect enough signatures to have a ballot question that says, do you want so-and-so removed from office? And when a majority of us vote yes, just 51%, we kick them out for good. And is that not in and of itself a reason to join, subscribe to this channel, and learn about how you can create that recall process in the future with myself and others who want to make it happen? There's just one nonprofit in the whole country that advocates for these 5 solutions. They're called Citizens in Charge. I've interviewed the founder. We will go into detail of Citizens in Charge later, but right now I'll just explain that what's more needed than just a nonprofit that advocates is a direct action committee to take action and to empower you with those solutions. And that's why I created RIPAC, the Representative Initiatives Political Action Committee, because we will file initiatives on your behalf. All you have to do is join and participate in the conversations and see where this channel goes. This is just the beginning. There's going to be far more production in the future. There's going to be far more great content created and distributed through this channel that you can share with others. We need to understand the recall process, because I'm sure you and I agree it doesn't matter if you're liberal or conservative or like me, dead in the center, as a radical centrist working to harmonize and unite people against corruption. We need to be able to kick all those corrupt politicians out of office. Okay, that's like most 90% or so or more. Okay, we need to kick them all out when they're not serving us and really attacking the core issues that affect our state and our nation. So let us unite for the recall process. The second most important process is the referenda. Referenda is plural for referendum. Referendum means that we can stop any bad law that's about to be on the books. So when our state legislatures convenes and they create the laws, they go into effect, they vote on those laws, they don't take effect until the following year. I believe that's the case in all states, but I can go into further detail of those individual states and their referendum processes. Not all states have it. Some states might enact law faster. There's emergency measures, of course. But the referendum process allows us to stop a law before it goes in. So when we know a bad law is pending, when we know a law is pending that will increase taxes on us significantly, we don't want that. Or it's going to create some kind of impedance to our Bill of Rights in any way, or it's just like a law that's like giving out a big subsidy to some corrupt corporation, for example, we can stop it in its tracks with the referendum process. And is that also not in itself a reason to join and subscribe to this channel and be able to want to participate in stopping corruption in government? We need to have a united, consensus-oriented group ready to decide amongst ourselves what bills need to be stopped, and then to qualify those referendums for the ballot through simple actions that we can take. Very simple. Mathematically, it's very feasible. It takes little effort, little accountability on your half to make it happen. small actions by many people can accomplish great things. The referendum process is so crucial. And again, like constitutional scholars I'll be sharing with you in other future videos, they're advocating for referenda and recall first and foremost, because these are things that the majority of us should agree on, especially when there's really egregious laws. We need to kick the politicians out. We need to stop their bad laws. Next, we have the nomination process. It's the opposite of the recall. It's like the yin to the yang. Nomination is how we get candidates on the ballot that we want to vote for. And we need to get candidates who will run unaffiliated, who will run independent, who will run with alternative parties, and also who will infiltrate the Democrats and Republicans and bring real debate to those parties so that people have an option to vote within those parties that they may already be registered with. Because let's face it, the majority of people are with those parties and aren't ready to vote third party. The whole spoiler vote effect is part of the brainwashing conditioning that people are under. We have to work within that framework. We have to understand that a lot of people are still going to be conditioned to only vote within a party right now because they synchronize with it. And when we can get a rogue in there, when we can get a sleeper cell candidate, someone who can get elected and then radically shift things, or who can, just bring truth to power in those platforms, like Ron Paul did, like Dennis Kucinich, Mike Gravel, who else? I mean, Bernie Sanders, okay, he brought a lot of truth to the Democratic platform that the Democratic Party was totally purposely ignoring. Okay, because as a party, they don't represent you. Same with the Republicans. The Republican Party doesn't necessarily represent the Republican concepts of limited government. But we can get sleeper cells in there. We can get real candidates who will work for the people, who will bring truth to those parties, and they can get elected. And I think that is a tremendous solution within the gerrymandered districts to have candidates run as whatever parties gerrymandered and bring truth to power. And we will be sharing with you great tools. I'm going to be having whole courses on how to train people to understand the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, natural law philosophy, and to run for office within the parties so that we can infiltrate them in the gerrymandered districts and get great candidates in every district. Ordinary people like you can run for office, and we can get you in there and you can represent the RIPAC model, which I'll share with you, is one where you don't have to have special skills or knowledge, and you can still be an amazing representative. I'll share with you. You just, in most cases, vote no on almost everything, and then you'll introduce some amazing bills that your constituents actually want you to introduce. We'll go into detail on that later. A whole new video will be done on all these issues. The next issue is the initiative process, representative initiatives. PAC is all about great initiatives to limit government power, to stop environmental toxins and pollutions, and to ultimately cease corruption in government. So unlike the concerns that a lot of people have for direct democracy, where they're very much concerned that it could be used and abused and create more tyranny in government, give the government too much power because people can be manipulated, and the masses are clearly paying too much attention to the mainstream media and they could easily vote for corrupt laws. Well, that's the difference of representative initiatives. We have moral servitude with natural law, and our focus is on laws that, like the Bill of Rights, limit government, okay? Everything that we have in our platform is to limit the government. And there's going to be some controversy and there's going to be debate about some of those bills. That's great. If I'm wrong about any of them, you can, as a member, will bring those to my attention, and we will eliminate any laws that are controversial in terms of whether or not they will actually create more tyranny and corruption in government. If that's the case, they don't belong in the RIPAC model. We'll get rid of them. I'm just saying that as a reminder, and letting you know the ultimate contingency plan is that my vision is to listen to you, the supporter of this channel, and the RIPAC vision. So the initiatives we launch are tremendous. And what initiatives are, I mean, I've told you, but what they do is they are when we can create our own laws. We don't have to wait for the governors. We don't have to wait for the president, in fact, because under states' rights in the 10th Amendment, we can create our own laws to nullify unconstitutional federal actions, any of them that we want under the 10th Amendment, and we want to protect that 10th Amendment. We want to use it. If we don't use our rights, we'll lose them. So the initiative process is crucial because we certainly need some laws to limit government on the books in every state that has the initiative rights. And And even for the states that don't have statewide initiative rights, there's actually a lot you can do on a local level. There's a lot of local initiative, referenda, and recall in almost every state except for, I think, Virginia. And I'll go into those details. We'll go into every state. I've done the research. It's not on the top of my mind right now, but we'll get deep into every single state's issues when you follow this channel. Isn't that a great reason to follow this channel? You get to learn about your state's issues and follow what's going on all around the world, and all around the country, and know what solutions you can participate in directly. Because all these 5 solutions, and I'll tell you the 5th one in a sec, they don't rely on the government. We're not waiting for the government to save us. These are solutions we can enact through the petitioning process, through garnering signatures from our neighbors, from getting their signatures on petitions. Not online petitions. We haven't gotten there yet. We'll have a bill for that, of course. We have one archived. But direct signature collection is how it's going to get done. So the 5th solution is the right to citizen grand jury, and this is how we create checks and balances in the legal system. Currently, only 6 states in the whole nation have the right to citizen grand jury, and they're very lucky states. They don't use these rights very much. They should. The threshold for signatures is actually far lower than initiative and referenda, and they allow the people to convene a citizen grand jury where we can actually have a stronger model through the initiative process, and what we can do is we can use the current grand juries to create checks and balances in the legal system. And we can replace the judges with a panel of citizens, for example. There's other types of citizen grand juries. That's my favorite kind. But what we can do is we can eliminate bar association corruption and the good old boys clubs that enable the legal system to be so corrupt, with all these kangaroo courts where they rule on behalf of the money and special interests that are behind closed doors or paying them off. You know, judges, just like politicians, are having dinner parties with really influential lobbyists, and it's corrupt, and we need to limit that. And the only way to really regulate the legal system is through the initiative process and through the citizen grand jury process. So we need to use that. We need to learn more about it, and I'll be going into details, everything that I can find out about it, to you in detail. And I'll even do some own investigation when I go to New Mexico to visit my father sometime in the future. I'll go into their state house and I'll get all the papers I can right from them, unless I find an activist in New Mexico, or my father maybe will go, or my brother who lives there, or my cousin who lives there. I'll get one of them off their butts to go do something for their state. I've been telling them this for a long time. We'll see what happens. There's some other states that have this right. North Dakota, I've been telling the Native Americans, reaching out to the Iroquois. I have a lot of respect for Native Americans, and really sad with all the DAPL issues, you know, all the water. It's going to affect the whole country if oil spills in there, and it doesn't look like it's stopping right now. And the thing is, they have the right to citizen grand jury right there. There are treaties that are being violated right now. They need to take them to court with the citizen grand jury. I've posted a video about this before. I've sent it out to every single top Facebook group out there, and no one's taking action on it. That's not my karma. That's on them. I have all the emails for every single Native American group in the nation now. 15. And it's only a matter of time before I really just send out like a few emails back to back and remind them, hammer them with some videos and say, hey, look, you got to use the citizen grand jury. Unless you want the water all polluted, or if you just want to stand there and freeze your butts off and do powwows and hope that fixes everything by prayer, good luck. I'm sorry, but direct action makes a lot more results than sitting back and being passive, no matter how wishful thinking you are and how much alignment you have with God and yourself. I'm sorry, that's not going to stop the water. If it has oil in it, it's polluted, you're going to get sick. That's a matter of physical nature. You can't get around that unless a miracle happens and you're like immune to oil in your water, okay? Or fracking waste. North Dakota also has the initiative process, but enough on that. We'll get into North Dakota issues later. There's a few other states that have citizen grand jury, but it's a tremendously important process, and you all need to know about it. A couple other points, 2 other side issues of solutions besides the 5 ballot proposition methods I mentioned of recall, referenda, nomination, initiative, and citizen grand jury. And then there's a constitutional convention, which is something for the future we can get into later. But 2 other points, very important points. We can also solve problems through independent journalism, which is a mental attribute everyone should be getting involved in. If you don't believe mainstream media like me, a lot of it's so lies and propaganda. A lot of them have been caught with just perpetrating propaganda for the corporate elites. You need to become your own media. You need to share videos like this and become your own media. Start making videos, learn how to express yourself better, talking to people through video, And writing blogs, in fact, is such a crucial concept. Doing your own research, writing and sharing information, becoming your own media, that is ultimately a huge part of the solution as well. It's not, it is direct action. It's not as direct action as the ballot proposition processes, but it's how we get there, because people need to know what ballot propositions they need to take. They need to know about the problems. So there's going to be a lot of blogging, a lot of future videos on the blogs I've already written, because I've written hundreds. I'm going to be starting to really archive them all through this channel, making videos for each and every one. And you know, doing research is crucial. Being your own media is a huge solution that plays into this. And the other step is the volunteerism. These are 8 points I call the Bagua of politics, okay, because I study Bagua Zhang and I Ching and Tai Chi, the yin and yang, and these are the 8 energies of the universe that make up all the 64 energies of the Tetragrammaton, and the myriad of potential of universal outcomes. And these 8 energies, I'm telling you, these 8 energies that I mentioned in this video, Bagua of politics, I'll have another video about that, going into more detail, but these 8 energies, they will transform the world. These ballot proposition processes, and the independent journalism and volunteerism. So volunteerism is through non-coercion, our voluntary participation in solutions that we want to see. It could be volunteering to help a local charitable cause. And it also ties into this concept of cryptocurrencies and using currency outside of the fiat currencies, not tied to usury and debt from the Federal Reserve. Now, there is speculation on these currencies. They go up and down, fluctuation with the dollar. They're pretty much in a stable position to go up, though, in the future as more and more people get into it, especially the business model that I'm going to be applying that you'll hear all about in this channel in the future. There's going to be a lot of introduction to blockchain currencies. I'm going to be getting people to, I'm going to be teaching you how to sign up, get your own Bitcoins and Litecoins and Steam dollars and other types of cryptocurrencies. BitShares is a big one. We're going to have our own digital currency for RIPAC using BitShares. And volunteerism, it's a huge solution. I'll have a whole video on that as well in the future. So subscribe, because you want to know all about it. You want to know what you can do to not be of the system. It's like boycotting the corrupt fiat dollar when you get into cryptocurrencies, and being able to know that you can voluntarily participate in solutions that will solve our problems. That's a huge aspect of the solutions. Next major point of this video is the duplication principle, mathematics. So the duplication principle is based off multiplication here. And, you know, if this video reaches 2 people in 1 week, and those 2 people share this video with 2 more the next week, and 1 week after that, it's shared with 2 more people, of course, this can happen more rapidly. But the principle is that through compounding duplication, millions of people can see videos like this so rapidly. So I'm going to harp on this. I'm sure with all my future videos, it's so crucial. I have to have a little short, a professionally edited video I make just about the duplication principle, because it's so crucial to understand that we can reach out to millions of people and reach the critical masses we need to enable all these ballot proposition processes in literally no time. The only thing stopping us from achieving solutions is your inaction. Your inaction, not anyone else's, not mine, not someone else's that doesn't share this video that you share it with, but your own inaction, okay? We need to stay persistent. We need to understand the philosophy of self-improvement, getting over the concepts of self-loathing and regret and grief, and start having faith and knowing that through something like mathematics, a proven science, we can clearly understand all the solutions we want can be achieved. It's very understandable by just acknowledging that in the states with ballot propositions, it's only a number threshold of valid signatures needed to get a bill on the ballot. And there's a huge time period to achieve that, except in California, it's like real short, it's like 4 months. Or 3 months, but in other states it's like a year and a half, 2 years even. It used to be 4 in Florida. I'll have to check back. I think it's down to 2 now. They're cutting back on these rights. I'm telling you, if we don't use these rights, we'll lose them. In Colorado, they just increased the signature threshold and voting threshold for constitutional amendments. It's no good. It really is no good in many respects. It could be looked at as good against bad constitutional amendments from the negative, corrupt people that try to put them on the ballot. But when ordinary citizens try to get our own issues on the ballot to stop corruption in government, we want to keep that threshold low. And it really was bad what they did, raising the bar. Voters voted for it, though. They thought they had good reasons. A lot of propaganda around it. I mean, ultimately, I mean, it could be. I'll have to do a whole video about the raise the bar issue in Colorado. What happened in Florida when they shortened the time frame, but. The duplication principle can solve all these obstacles, okay? 2 to the 16th power, it's like 250,000 plus, okay? State like where I am in right now, that can happen 16 weeks. Clearly, we could reach enough people to get a constitutional amendment on the ballot. And just from a YouTube channel, I could have a link with a PDF file. People could print out the petition, get their neighbor to sign, have their neighbor collect their signature. Everyone signs the declaration for each other. We mail in the petitions and boom, we have enough valid signatures for a constitutional amendment, a statute, referenda. A statute, by the way, is another type of initiative. You have constitutional amendments for the big laws, and statutes for the little laws locally and statewide. Recalls, nominations, we can get candidates on the ballot, citizen grand juries in the states that have those. The duplication principle can heal all of our ills. We just have to understand that when you share this and other people share it, we will reach enough people. That's how videos go viral. That's how solutions go viral. And I hope that this 2017 solution, that you are the one that can solve all these problems, really speaks out to you. Because here's the thing, 2017 from a numerology perspective, it consolidates down to the number 1. You have 2, and then 0 is 2, and then 1 and 7 is 8, and 7, 8, 9. You have 1 and 7 is 8, and then 9 and 10, right? Bring it down to 1. Boom. Not hard to understand. Simple math. All right, and the duplication principle can let us reach out to enough people that understand that they are the ones. It's like that Hopi prophecy that we are entering the 5th age. All right, it's like the Mayan prophecy that said we were entering a new age. The Hopi prophecy, the Vedic prophecy that we're in Chaitanya Yuga and things are about to get really good. All right, it's that you are the leader we have been waiting for. That was an Obama quote. He stole that from the Hopi elders. And then there's another poet or a writer that took that, but it originally came from the Hopi elders. I mean, it's just an axiom. I mean, it's as old as time itself. But the thing is, we need to stop looking up to politicians, start looking inside our hearts and inside our minds to find the knowledge and the wisdom and faith to lead us forward. So, understanding that you are the one that we were waiting for is crucial, and that when you share this news and information with others and they understand that too, we can achieve great things. All right, we can supersede our governors. We can kick them all out of office. We can create our own laws to stop unconstitutional actions in our states. We can address the corruption in the police. We can address the attacks on our water quality. We can address the just corrupt legislatures and states governments and federal representatives. We can stop fraud in government, all kinds of things. Just look at the bills at the website, RIPAC.us. Still in production. There's a lot of great info there for now. There's going to be a lot of new info in the future. A lot of stuff hasn't even been uploaded yet. It's going to be tremendous. It's like 27 areas of legislation to check out, from education, environmental issues, and stopping corruption in government, stopping tyranny. And I think you're just really going to love it. And the last principle, the last point of this video is really like 8 main parts. This is all freestyle, okay? I gotta just get these videos out. No time for editing here. Super busy. But we need to all get into reading and writing. Just to harpen on the independent journalism, we need to get into reading, writing, making videos, social media. This is a decentralized solution. I'm not the solution you're looking for. You are the solution. I want to see you making videos. I will be happy to consult you. I will be happy to train you in blogging as needed. I will be there to give you advice. I could have whole videos on that. It's great for the mind, great for the soul, to know how to articulate your thoughts and share them with others. It feels good to share them with others. And ultimately, the solution is joining me. Join me, because I am the one who is the first and foremost person in the whole world right now who's promoting these solutions in the way that I am. that's showing you direct solutions to stop corruption in government, with all the details that will be provided, but just enough detail for now that you can accept we have the solutions right here now. There's no time to wait. Look, through the duplication principle in your state, it'd be like 16 weeks. I talked to a couple people last week. They totally get it. They're ready to do something. Sometimes it's just a matter of taking action. People aren't taking action, and that is the brainwashing, the conditioning ultimately that is we're all struggling with, is taking action. I've waited far too long to get my videos out. I'm just now really starting to do that. It's a new year. It's time for New Year's resolutions. Let's all start making viral videos sharing these 8 points. You take this video, make a better version of it, please be my guest. I'll be working on making better ones in the future. I'll be working on some editing to cut them down, but I got to get this video out now just so I can see if, get some traction on my timeline and the various social media that I have, just to get it out there. It's a template for what's to come. But the 8 main sections of this video to understand are: don't judge. First and foremost, don't judge the messenger. Second, do some research, understand the evil of government, understand that government, and what is the term, is democide, has been the cause of the worst atrocities of mankind's history, and everything that they've done during those atrocities has been deemed legal with consent of the followers, the order takers of the military and police, and these people that give their whole moral compass and consciousness over to government, say, I don't want to take any responsibility for my actions, I'll just listen to the government. Problem is, too many of our own citizens, people here in our sovereignties, are not sovereign themselves these days, and they're passing their own conscience over to the paid-off propaganda media. Understand the dark occult, the Satanism that goes on in government, all the corruption, pedophilia, blood sacrifices, and so forth, and all the means of manipulation. There's 5 main methods of manipulation that they use, and I'll just let you know this real quick, but it is a dark, evil, Luciferian occult of evil forces and people that have sold their souls to the devil. Literally, they've sold their souls to the wealth and power that government provides them, both Democrats and Republicans. Republicans, they're just horrible. Democrats are almost more dangerous because they condition the liberals, those who have passion and care for others, that have the love in their hearts to want a government that serves the people, that helps them, to then pass all the power over to the Democratic Party, which isn't democratic at all. They don't listen to you. They don't adopt democratic principles like direct democracy like I do. I'm the true progressive here, okay? I'm a progressive libertarian, if you will, radical centrist. I can tell you, Democratic Party is not democratic. Green Party doesn't adopt the principles enough. Libertarian Party doesn't enough. It's up to us to start reaching out to those alternative parties and getting into those parties and sharing with them the real secrets of the dark occult that runs this world, and understanding it. And we'll have to go into depth of the debt-based monetary system. That's one. The corrupt militarism and those who are subjugating others to moral.
It's 8:30.
What it is it's conscious objection, or it's something that's happening in the military, in the police, where they don't follow their own conscience, where they just take orders from others, regardless of whether they're right or wrong. There's a huge problem with that. The militarist, police, use of force system of the government. You have monetary, the use of force. You have the corrupt media and propaganda that promotes it all, that conditions everybody. You have the kangaroo courts and the law system that's totally corrupt, that's not predicated off of natural law and actual humans' rights, that's predicated off of what's good for the corporate government state. And you have the attack on our health, and the attack on the environment, the attack on the planet, the attack on all life. Okay, those five acts of the dark occult are what's keeping our world in check, and we need to challenge them. We need to understand that brainwashing, hypnotism actually works, that propaganda actually works, and people are actually asleep. And they can take in all this knowledge, but if you take in this knowledge and you don't act on it and you don't do anything, It's worthless. It is absolutely worthless if you do not take action and do anything. You have to understand that is a symptom of hypnosis, that you are under mind control when you know there's something needs to be done and you are not acting within your willpower and your conscience. You're not listening to your heart and your gut telling you to act. That is hypnosis. That is thought control. That is brain control. That is ultimately control of your person by means that are within your control to suppress. You can suppress the hypnosis, you can suppress the illusion, but it takes tremendous willpower and tremendous effort. And I hope that you get there with me. Next, you need to know about the non-aggression principle. Number 4, non-aggression principle. Don't do unto others as you would not have done unto you, and have a moral focus on being right. Listen to your heart, listen to your gut, listen to what your mind is telling you to do, which is to listen to your deeper consciousness. And the self-defense principle, you have to know to stand up for yourself, even put your body on the line, and to speak out. You need to speak out, even if it is with harsh words, tell people that they're just straight brainwashed and straight mesmerized by the corporate media. You have to be harsh with people sometimes to wake them up, and sometimes that helps people so much. You have to be a little acidic with people sometimes with your personality just to get a point across to them and let them know that you're too completely dissatisfied with their acceptance of slavery on the planet and the acceptance of greed and usury in government. When they don't stand up and do anything about it, they are part of the problem. You are part of the problem if you ignore this warning. Heed this advice. The self-defense principle is crucial. You must accept it. Without the self-defense principle, we are all victims. We are sheeple waiting for the slaughter, so to speak. Next, you need to know about the ballot proposition processes. Go to ballotpedia.org, huge resource, over 100 years of facts, history, proving everything I've said in this video. The next section, 7, the duplication principle. We have to understand the mathematics, that all these goals are within our means, that the solution is strength in numbers and reaching a critical mass that will enable us to accomplish our goals. We must embrace the duplication principle. We must share it with others, because without understanding that, so many people are just unaware and ignoring the truth that we can actually achieve these goals. It's a mathematical construct. It's simply a number that we're seeking to reach, and those numbers can be achieved through duplication of many people's efforts. Okay, it's not just from me, it's not just from me and you and I, it's from multiple people also participating. The duplication process works, and when people understand the duplication principle, we can achieve all we desire as a human species, and we can thrive, and we can create heaven on this planet. Lastly, we all have to engage our minds. Make a New Year's resolution, sharpen your saw. It's a great book. It's audio you can get free on YouTube. Recommend these things. I have them saved in the favorites. A lot of self-help, positive psychology stuff out there. But the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is one I highly recommend. Sharpening the saw is the term given to focusing on your mind, your mental construct, always learning, never end the learning process. It's a lifelong journey. You will always be learning more and refining your knowledge and wisdom. And in order to best do that, you must engage yourself in reading and writing about what you've read and sharing that with others. And then actually speaking and working on this throat chakra, the connector between the heart and mind, to let your information out. You can't just store it in and learn and not give out to others. Learn from what I've learned. You'll be feeling that you've waited far too long to start preaching the truth to others. The truth is our highest priority. And we must align ourselves with that, because God is the truth, and the truth is God. And that knowledge and facts are what God is made of, actual facts that are tangible, that can be proven. And we must align ourselves with that. And through reading and writing, and through being social, engaging ourselves in social health, we need mental health, physical health, spiritual health, which is emotional as well, and social health as well, and we need to all participate. So those are the 8 points. Again, don't judge others, don't judge me, and don't worry about being judged. Share knowledge about the dark evil of the world. Unless people understand the problems, they can't accept the solutions. They can't even have the desire to act on the solutions if they don't know how deep the problems actually go. And they are far deeper than you want to know. The world is so corrupt and evil. It's actually getting better. That's the good news. It's actually getting better from where it was. It used to be a lot worse. You have to understand brainwashing, hypnotism, and the mode of inaction that people are just conditioned to accept. We have to break free of that. We have to break the chains of our conditioning, start taking action. We have to understand the non-aggression principle, the divine feminine, and the divine masculine, the self-defense principle. We have to understand all the ballot proposition processes. We have to understand the duplication principle and share that with others as well. And then we have to engage ourselves in reading, writing, and social media. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe for updates. There's going to be a lot of great info to come. Haribol.